It's on. Hi, I'm Wee Chen, and I'll be moderating this session. We started a little bit late, something like 10 minutes, because I think it was raining just now, I understand, and some of you have difficulty finding a lot and walking over. So like Esther, we really appreciate your taking this time to be with us. And also, we have actually a very rich panel here with different perspectives. So we will ask that you indulge us that we may be ending a little later than the expected time of 3:30, right? So we may be ending about 3:40 or 3:45. As my colleagues, actually I'm in the same branch as Cecilia and Esther, as they have ended with a slide that says that it takes the whole village to address this issue of raising a 21st century child. I just want to say that actually present here right now is actually the whole village. Maybe not the entire, but critical members of the village. So the students themselves have shared with you their perspectives, and then we have the specialists from MOE. And we're very happy today also to have other members from the different, who play a very critical role, and they all have a stake in terms of raising a 21st century child in the digital age. So with me today is Mr. Edmund Tay. He's actually a member of the Media Literacy Council. We also have Mr. Lionel Tan, who is a representative from the Law Society, and we have Mrs. Mabel Lee, who is actually the Vice Principal of Westview Primary School. I'm just going to pass the mic over to them to introduce themselves, as well as give us a little bit of understanding of their work, so that later on, as you ask questions, you know how to relate with them.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Edmund. What do I do? Basically, besides being a youth pastor, I've worked with youth for the last 12 years. Besides doing that, I'm also an active blogger on the internet world. So I write about parenting and parenting issues. So when young, I grew up on Pac-Man as well. So when she mentioned Pac-Man, I kind of brought back memories. So I was a bit of a junkie as well in my younger days. And basically, what I do now in my free time is that I write about parenting. I write about my journey together with my kids, what I do with them, things that I explored as a parent, and things I enjoy doing together with my kids. The Media Literacy Council is basically a council that was started last year in August. It has 21 members, representing members from different walks of industries. For example, we have people like Norton, Google, academics, people from the law faculty as well on it as well. So basically, we are a council formed by MBA, and we're independent council. We come together basically to talk about how we can better help create internet environment which is safe and encourage responsible citizenship on the internet world. So basically that's us and as an NLC. So thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Lionel Tan. I'm a partner in the law firm of Raja and Tan. I'm representing the Law Society of Singapore here as a practicing lawyer. It's also part of the auspices of the Pro Bono Society. There are a lot of lawyers that give their time and efforts, in such efforts in terms of educating. For my part, in terms of educating and speaking on cyber wellness issues. I'm a technology lawyer, and I think that social media is one of the big areas of involvement with the law interplays with how everyday life. So with respect to legal issues, there are going to be cyber crimes. There's going to be intellectual property issues. Okay, and of course, very topical now is defamatory statements that are posted online. So I'm here to sort of give my perspective as a lawyer and also as a parent. I have 3 children. My daughter's eldest daughter is 14, and I'm having a very difficult time keeping up with her technologically as well. Okay. So I sympathize with all the parents here. Okay, even though I'm in this line, okay, I have to keep up all the time, just to be in touch with her and understand her thoughts.
I'm Mabel. I'm the VP from Westview Primary School. Basically, I also oversee character and citizenship education areas in my school. And as in the school, we also want our children to be, we know they are already digital natives. Even before they come to us at primary 1, many of them have played with iPad. They were always looking for things to swipe and open. All right. So, but beyond that, even in a classroom context, we also try and see how we can look at their learning in a different way through self-directed learning, using tapping on technology as well as collaborative learning. And this is a very powerful tools which we would like our children to also be aware. And computer is not necessarily always bad. Internet itself has its pluses where children can share in a very safe environment in the school where we have they are all moderated, and at the same time even if they make mistakes, we can correct them early and give them a chance to learn from other people's perspective through the mistakes that they made as well. So it is there's a lot that we have to be aware of at the same time. So that's why we also try to educate our teachers and share with them the people's perspective as well.
Thanks, panelists, for introducing yourselves. We also have Miss Del Marie Butler. Yeah, maybe you can just wave your hand. Yeah, thank you very much. She's actually a representative of Pro Bono Services Office. If you'd like to meet up with her later on after the session, please do so. But last but not least, a very critical member of the village is none but yourselves, parents. So feel free later on also, if you want to exchange ideas, you may just take the mic and also share your personal experience and how you overcame certain things with regard to parenting. So we're going to start off with a question that was posed earlier during Cecilia's segment. You were asking along the line of how to help children prioritize. And I think then my colleagues went on to elaborate a little bit more that maybe it's prioritized so that there's balance. And also just to stretch a little bit more for the panelists is that some of you have participated in an online survey prior to the session, and it does seem like from the questions you've asked, a lot of you are looking for parenting tips, parenting skills, how do you actually guide your children. Yeah, so that is the larger picture, but specifically right now the question is how to prioritize, how to find a balance. Who would like to start off on that question?
How to find a balance. I think basically the most important thing in parenting is role modeling. So basically, kids pick up things from us. For example, let's say, the question earlier was like one question was if 1 hour of study equals 1 hour of internet. The same way, there are a lot of adults who addicted to Korean movies as well. Do you tell them 2 hours of work, 2 hours of Korean movie? I don't think it's a safe guideline or kind of thing. Every parent is a good parent. Every interested parent is a good parent. So it's up to us to deduce. We as Singaporeans always like it, prescribed guidelines and everything. You take this, take 2 tablets a day, go to sleep, wake up, and then you're fully recovered. You're well. But I think parenting there's no magic formula because every child is different. Every child has different likes and dislikes. Maybe your child likes the internet, but there are other children that are addicted to other things as well. I remember when I was young, I was addicted to smash hits. I used to put posters of boy bands or girl bands, on my wall, and that was part of me growing up. So you see, different eras in time mean different challenges. In my time, it was I used to walk around my Walkman all day, all night. My parents would tell me, at the dinner table, can you take off the Walkman? I don't know about you, maybe you suffer the same fate as me, but of course now you have the challenge where, at the dinner table, can you turn off your mobile phone? But what was the root cause? The root cause is basically, the root issue is mainly more about us as parenting, as parents and how we interact with our children. If we can see for ourselves, how much is too much and how much is too little, that would be the best and most ideal because we as parents are the best people and we know our children. We know what the challenges they face. We know what keeps them up awake. We know basically everything about them. If you look at your child and you see your child distressed, and your child is under 12, most probably you know what's bothering them. Because why? As a good parent, you would know. In the same way, I'm sure as a parent yourself, you would be wise enough to set guidelines. So, as a parent, I believe that we as parents would know. And of course, there are certain excessive forms like 8 hours, 10 hours, of course, that is out of the picture altogether. I'm talking about, whether it's more grey when it's 3 or 4 hours. What is a good time? You as a parent would know yourself, I think.
how do you prioritize? There are at the end of the day, I think as parent you need to know your child very well. And when you say you give the child the time to play on the computer, is there any other things that you could do with him instead? Do you give the child the time to play computer so that you can do your own things after they finish your homework, or what? So I would like to think of when you want to, the easy answer would to say, okay, what is due tomorrow for homework? If that is done, maybe you can spend some time to talk about that homework. What is it that they have, how they have done it? Spend a little bit more time with the child by talking to your child. Because a lot of the times we work and we come home very late, your children doesn't really have much conversation with you, and that could be the reason why they find other ways to talk, other people to talk to. So I would not like to say how many hours you let them play the computer game or what, but there are many ways of rewarding your child. Time you spend with the child talking about the school day can mean a lot to the child, because I think they hardly get to see you. All right, some in the secondary school, their days are very long, and at the end of the day, you come home. Perhaps it's not good that your first question is, have you done your homework? But what have you done? What happened? What's your day like in school? You start that first, then you talk about their homework, whether they have done their homework. And not every homework has to be completed the very same day, because schools do not give you deadlines that is due the following day. Usually we will stagger, and maybe there are some homework that the child may say they have already done, but when you take a look, you may realize that actually they needed help. They wanted you to sit with them to maybe guide them a little bit. All right, so let's settle that first, and then we talk about playing computer time, because sometimes they can just rush through it and then they say they have finished their homework, but check it first.
As a lawyer, I love rules. I wish I could set out a time and tell my the kids, okay, or let's say government's mandates, you can only do 3 hours a day, 3 hours you must do your homework. Okay, as a lawyer, I love those certainty. Okay, but I know it can't be done. My perspective as a parent would be that for younger children, I think you as a parent you have to set the time. You decide in your discretion for younger kids. This is the time. Okay, you prioritize, give them a little bit on the internet for play, for rest, to socialize a little bit. That's fine. But for maybe teenagers, I think my perspective is that you have to sit down with a teenager and explain to them. They spend too much time on a certain activity online. It's maybe unhealthy. It's going to affect the other parts of their life. They're not going to lead a balanced life, and it's going to have repercussions. I think if you explain to your teenager, in that sense, I think they will understand. Okay, and another perspective is that actually spending time online is not too bad if they do it responsibly. Because when as lawyers, we see the younger generation coming up. They're very, very savvy. They're very well connected, and they actually make very, very good lawyers, because they can search things very rapidly. They can think out of the box. And I think it's the next generation is coming up. They all are very internet savvy, and they are very creative.
Yeah, what I hear from the panelists so far is that there's one thing that seems to be common among the sharing, whether you're setting rules or whether you know the child is a unique person, or whether you actually prioritize according to what's going to happen tomorrow in school. I think it also refers back to the original question, is how to teach the children. What is common is actually the time spent, is the relating with the child. And I think earlier on, there was a sharing on that as well. Now to open up to the floor, would anybody like to ask a question to the panelists? Yes.
You must buy you, then you will get satisfied with you. You must give him good reasons. So how to communicate with him in a way that he always go toilet for 30 minutes just to WhatsApp or Facebook. So I want to talk to him nicely, I don't want to penalty him because he's a growing child, And then because my husband is working overseas, so I'm the only mom, and the only son. So he always argue like a lawyer, But he I know he can't be a lawyer, but he always want good reasons. Mommy, you give me good But when the father talked to him, he never argued with the father. He said, I never with my father. I said, that is good. But when in Singapore, when I'm alone, always, he always go to toilet for 30 minutes. So I said, I let him play as well. I say, when you study 1 hour, I let you play 1 hour, okay? But now he always now go to the toilet. Every day come back must go toilet for 30 minutes. But I said, darling, I said, you go toilet, I understand. But he will tell me, Mom, cannot go toilet lah. Urgency. But 30 minutes, I always time him 30 minutes. I give him my phone 30 minutes, If we got 30 minutes, I say, but it's 30 minutes, it's everything. So my son is the type of person, is not a normal kid. He's over too mature in a way that he always think very far ahead. So I always cannot beat him. So always I must call my husband overseas. How to settle him. I always must call his father every day, to help him out. So now I got problem with him that he thinks too much. So now that's why I come here so that he needs people to talk to him with reasons. You don't argue with him, you sure lose him one.
Sorry, ma'am, can you let us know how old is your kid?
13 plus,
Okay.
coming to 14. Yeah.
Okay.
This is just that too.
Right. Parents?
Before I answer, after this, you give me a name of son, I'll track him. I'm sure in law school in a few years' time. But having said that,